are you? This is Lois. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're well and safe wherever you are. Oh my goodness, guys. Today I'm so excited. Very excited. And I want to share this with you because I think it matters. It's important to me and something that is important to me, I feel. I should always share it with you, especially when it comes to immigration. It's exactly 10 years since I came to Canada. Guys, oh, it's been quite a journey, and I think maybe we should do a live and I do a question and answer session whereby you can ask me any question just to commemorate. Come on, I can't even speak English today. But to commemorate my 10th year anniversary here in Canada. Okay, guys? Yeah, we should do that in this month of November. Okay, guys? All right. Anyway, I'm Lois. If you don't know, I'm an RCIC and I'm based here in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. And I'm here to share something really important with you. Have you subscribed? If you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe, like and share this video, please. Anyway, so what do I want to share with you today? There's an avalanche, and I mean avalanche, of people who are arriving in Canada at this time, especially because the borders just opened up to everybody in September. So a lot of people now have been, their visitor visas have been approved. Previously, maybe only students and workers were arriving, and a few, so it was limited. We had limited number of people arriving in Canada. We all know that. But now everybody is coming through. The gates are bursting with newcomers. Welcome, guys. Welcome. And maybe for you here or someone you know, their visa is in process and they'll be arriving in Canada soon, even for Christmas. That's why I want to take you through best practices, or rather questions that you will be asked at the port of entry upon arrival to Canada. Okay? So if this is your first time to enter Canada for either a visit or studies or PR, you could be coming for even for work. So we're going to cover all those four aspects and see, the likely questions that are about to be asked upon arrival for you. Okay? I'll also mention a few things that you should avoid and other things that maybe you should do. Okay? So when you land, you're going, and I'm going to assume that the port of entry here, although I know a few people could be coming from the US, so you could be coming through the land border, but majority of the people do come through the airport. So that is going to be our port of entry for the purpose of today. So once you land there, you're going to meet, some immigration officials and CBSA agents, some of them smiling, just looking as if they're welcoming you because they are welcoming you to Canada, but they're not there to say hi. They're not there to say hi and welcome you to Canada, rather. They are there to work. They are protecting the Canadian borders. Yes, that's their greatest mandate, to protect the Canadian borders, and of course to make sure that you arrive and you're able to process your immigration upon arrival. Okay? So they are likely to ask you questions about your visit, your intentions, depending on your purpose. Okay? One thing they always do, they are observant. Oh yes, they're there, they're observing your mannerisms, your body language, and they're looking for unusual body behaviors, like excessive sweating, jitteriness, anxiety, and other signs that maybe you could be carrying some contraband, or you're a suspicious person, maybe you're some drug trafficker, human trafficker, a terrorist. All those, they're looking for those. And actually these people, they're really well trained. They can spot a lot just by observing. Okay? And of course, they're going to tell you, welcome to Canada. They're going to check your passport, and they're going to process your first immigration upon landing there. So they could be giving you a work permit, a study permit. They could be stamping your passport with the exit date. It depends on what you're coming here to do. So before you travel, before you leave your country, be smart. be smart, because you need to be smart on arrival in Canada. Because having a Canadian visa allows you to travel to Canada. It does not necessarily allow you to enter Canada. It doesn't guarantee entry to Canada. It's up to the visa officer. That is the person who still makes the final determination of whether they're going to let you in or not. You could actually land there and be on the next flight back home, depending on many circumstances. So let us look at those things. Number one, I've told people, and I say this because I have seen cases like this and they shred my heart. Okay? Be careful. And I'm saying for first-time travelers. So all you guys who are good travelers, trusted travelers, pros in traveling. Okay, let's just be here and encourage people who are coming here for the first time, because they're gonna need us. Okay, so be careful about being sent by people. Yes, people, even people there's gonna be those people who are like, oh, you know what? I have my cousin or I have my friend in Canada. You wanna take this pair of shoes? I'm not saying don't help people, but there's DHL and FedEx for that reason. Even Canada Post. Avoid as much as possible being sent by people to bring, especially people you do not trust. Because you could only be bringing that pair of shoe, but you could be trafficking drugs. And if you're caught, oh my good Lord, if you're caught with any contraband, then you are in deep trouble. And that is going to be the beginning of the end of your Canadian dream. Okay? So please do not do that. Because it doesn't matter whether someone has sent you or not. It's still up to you. It's up to you. You're responsible for whatever you bring here. So it's up to you to protect yourself from crime. Okay? So whatever you carry, whatever is in your luggage is totally your responsibility. By the time you get the opportunity, if you're even going to get the opportunity to explain yourself as to why and whose that thing is, my friend, you'll have screwed up everything that you worked so hard for. So avoid that. Anyway, number two, I want to tell you this, okay? You may be needed to declare. What you're bringing to Canada. So these guys, the visa officers, they're going to be asking you, what are you bringing to Canada? Okay, so if you're bringing money, always make sure, if it's over 10,000 Canadian dollars, make sure you declare. There's no harm in bringing even 100,000 Canadian dollars, as long as you declare. And at times, of course, you can say where that money came from. Okay, they're just trying to protect, Canada from fraud. Okay. So declare. Be sure to know what not to bring to Canada. There are things that you can bring here, like meat, like grains. If you don't want to spend a lot of hours in secondary, please avoid bringing grains. One time I made a mistake. Someone told me to bring beans. Can you imagine beans? Please forgive me. But someone told me to bring them beans, and I brought them beans. Like 2 kilos of beans, and that's how I spent 3 hours in secondary, and trying to convince those visa officers that actually those beans are to be eaten, not to be planted here, because they do not want you to bring seeds to plant. You could introduce plant diseases and other pests and stuff like that. So make sure you educate yourself on the things that you can't actually bring here before you're caught and land yourself in trouble or you're paying a fine. Okay, anyway, enough of that. So guys, depending on the reason that you're coming to Canada, so let's see, a visitor. So you're arriving as a visitor. What have I told you? In the past, I said, if you're coming for a visitor, arrive as a visitor. If you're coming here to visit, maybe you're not visiting family, you're coming for a conference, please come as if you're coming for a conference. I've seen people be deported so many times because they're coming here for a 4-day trip. They say that they're coming to a conference, and they're carrying 6 suitcases that they're bringing to so-and-so, and they did not declare that in there. They didn't declare that in their itinerary. So they say, no, I'm just going to this hotel, I'm staying at the hostel, I'm not meeting anybody in Canada. But then, my dear, you have brought items as gifts, and then you're caught with those, so you end up being caught as a liar. So as a visitor, they are going to ask you for a passport. So they'll ask, please give me your passport. Where are you visiting? Who are you visiting? How long are you here for? Do you have any plan to work? That is a trick question. Yes, That is a trick question, my friend. Let me tell you, you should be careful, because I know that some of you may be coming, and there's nothing wrong with that. You're coming here to visit. If someone gives you a job, fine, it's a good thing. But if you tell the visa officers that you have a plan, maybe you've been talking to an employer here, then I tell you, most likely you're not going to be allowed entry. So be smart. So always know where you're coming, who you're staying with, know their addresses. So know the address. I'm coming to visit my sister. This is her name, this is her address, and this is her phone number. Because at times they are gonna call and just confirm that, hey Lois, are you expecting someone to be visiting you today from abroad? So if they say no, and I've seen a lot of people say no, they panic. Maybe they don't have the right immigration status, and they're scared that, because they're talking to an immigration officer, they may know, so they say no, and that's how you also end up back home. Okay, so always make sure the person you're visiting, they know, and they are aware, and they are available to pick a call if called by CBSA or immigration. Okay, so that question on, do you have any plan to visit? You're coming to work, please, you're coming to visit, so you better please, you just say you are coming to visit. If you have plans of extending your visa, okay, avoid telling these guys, oh, you know what, I'm coming here for 2 weeks. I might actually extend this for another 4 months, please. If you're coming for 2 weeks, just say you're coming for those 2 weeks. You can always change your plans once you're in Canada to stay longer, as long as you're not violating your visitor visa, okay? As a visitor, you're allowed to stay in Canada for up to 6 months. And you can still extend that, okay? Yeah, but avoid contradicting your entry as a visitor, okay? So they're also going to be asking you, how will you be supporting yourself in Canada? So like they want to know, do you have money, or are you planning to be homeless here? Okay, so they'll also ask you, what will you be doing? So be sure you know where you're going. If you're coming for a church conference, you better know where that church conference is, and you're going to church. If there's an itinerary planned, if you guys are going to visit, maybe you want to go see a landmark, the Banff Mountains, Niagara Falls, wherever, make sure you can say where you will be going. At times I say, you know what, the less you talk, the better. Yes, the less you talk, the better. Stop over volunteering information that no one asked you. Just answer the questions that you were asked. Okay, if you're asked, when do you plan to leave Canada, please know the date of your itinerary. So if you're visiting for a week, you better know that, you know what, I'm only here for 8 days. I'll be leaving next week, Wednesday. Okay, welcome to Canada. They may also ask you, who are you traveling with? So you better know, if you're traveling in a group, be sure to say, oh, you know what, we are here as a group, or just myself and, and my child, or myself and my husband, or I'm just here alone. Okay, make sure you know that. Just so I say, always be in the right space of mind when you arrive as a visitor in Canada. Now, students, yes, student season, when that comes, always make sure you have your letter of introduction. Remember, you don't have a study permit. What you have is your letter of introduction. Make sure you have that, and you also have your letter of acceptance. Please also make sure you know the school that you're going to. Yes, a lot of people, they're like, oh, you know what, I don't know. Come on, you apply to come to school, you better know where you're coming, it's in which province, or I'm coming to this college in Toronto, or I'm coming to this college or university in Calgary. Okay, what will you be studying? Please know that as well. Okay, so be sure. So they're going to ask you, where will you be staying, the address. Make sure you know all that. One other thing they may ask you as a student is, who is paying your school fees? Okay, who is paying your school fees? Make sure you know whether you're self-sponsored. Just make sure you know that. Okay, or if you have a sponsor, make sure you can give that information, and you can even show them school fees plans if asked. Always be ready to provide that kind of documentation if you're asked. Okay, you can always carry bank statements. Now, the other question is, how will you be supporting? How do you plan to support yourself when you're here in school? Okay? Or you can always tell them there's no crime in saying this, because once you're here in Canada as a student, you also have, you have some rights to work as an international student. You can say, I plan to be here in full-time school. I'm coming to study this. And I'll be a full-time, and I'm thinking that, once I settle, I could look for a part-time job, because my study permit does actually allow me to work 20 hours a week, and that way I'll be able to supplement the money that I brought here and support my stay. Okay? It's always okay to say that. Okay? All right. So if you're coming here for permanent residence, so you're coming here as a landed immigrant. Okay? So most likely you have your migrant visa. They will be asking you, so maybe you've been sponsored by your spouse. So who sponsored you? So you better be knowing, were you sponsored by your spouse or your parents or your child? That is for the parents. So who sponsored you? What's your destination? The address, and that person, when I say who sponsored you, you better be having their name. Again, just like visitors, you have their name, and their details, just in case immigration wants to call and confirm. Actually, at times they even call to confirm that you're gonna go pick them, if they need to be picked up. Okay, so always make sure you have the address. They don't call all the time, but they may call. So have the address, show them the address. Make sure you have oh, I already said that. Of course, you have your migrant visa. You're going to fill some forms at upon arrival. You're going to fill some forms, and you will get your landing document. That is the long landing paper that you get. That paper is extremely important. Very, 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 very important in this country. Keep it safe. And you're gonna be using it when you're applying for citizenship 3 years or 4 years down the line. So that's why I'm saying make sure you keep it safe. The documents that you fill, of course, they're for your permanent resident card, and you fill that, and your permanent resident card is going to arrive by mail, maybe in a week or 2 or 3 weeks, depending. Okay? All right. So if you're coming here as a worker, so someone has already given you a job and you're coming here, again, it's just like students. Make sure that you have your documents ready. Always, for everything, for any arrival that you're doing, always make sure you have your documents in one place. So if you're gonna get a small folder, make sure you have that. You have everything that you need. So for workers, make sure you know who your employer is, their address, of course, what job you're gonna be doing, the details of that job, including the wage. These guys are gonna be asking you those questions because they want to know, like, for real, you're coming to do a job. And if you really don't know the job title or the address, or even how much you're earning, then you come out suspicious, guys. Okay, so mostly they always, almost all the time, they call the employer. So make sure you have a number that they can always call and confirm that yes, they have this worker that they are bringing from abroad. Okay, now we are living in some peculiar times. I will say that we are living in COVID times, and what I've seen from my own travels is, of course, now you have to bring in extra documents for especially to meet the COVID protocols. So they're requiring you to have tested at least 72 hours before you board your plane to Canada. So make sure you bring your proof of vaccination. If you're vaccinated, make sure you have your proof of vaccination, and make sure that you have a valid test. Okay, make sure you have a valid negative test. That is the PCR test. Yeah, I think it's the PCR test. And I saw those things are costing a lot of money. So make sure you have those. And now always make sure that you have that ArriveCan. So download ArriveCan. I think you can only download ArriveCan up to 24 hours or 48 hours before you can travel. So download ArriveCan and fill it in and have your receipt. If you don't have a smartphone, you can actually just print it, but make sure if you have your smartphone, you can print it before you even get to immigration. Someone is going to be waiting for you to show that ArriveCan, the receipt for ArriveCan, the confirmation that you actually filled that and you're fit for travel. Okay, so now you just have your folder, your arrival folder just became bigger. Okay, But essentially, those are the questions that are going to be asked of you at the port of entry. Please make sure that you are well prepared, you're not nervous, you can answer the questions with ease, and you have your documents ready if you're asked. For people who are coming here to study, make sure you do not pack your education credentials in your checked bag. Always make sure that all these things are with you in your carry-on. Okay, all right. So guys, welcome to Canada. Canada is a beautiful place, and have you subscribed? If you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe, like and share this video, and I will see you in my next video.